So how do you work on a newer Audi? Take the whole freaking front end off. That's how. Let's get started. This is a 2018 Audi A4 with a 2.0 turbo. And yes, for you guys out there that are affiliated with Audis, you know, this is normal, this is the service position, this isn't a big deal. Why are you griping, Car Wizard? I know, this is normal. But for the person out there that knows just a little bit about mechanics or doesn't know much about mechanics at all, this is like walking in on a loved one in the middle of open heart surgery. It's like all you had to do is this one part and you tore my whole, oh my God, what'd you do to my car? Trust me, I've been through this. It's really scary. It does look, it's like, I don't understand all these parts. We're going to go through it today and how crazy it is. And although it's normal for an Audi, it's still not normal. It's weird. So why is it here? A coolant leak. A very small one. That's it. That's the only reason it's here. The rest of the car works fine. It's doing fine. No check engine light, no issues. And it turned into a pretty expensive bill. As you can see, this is not a $50 job. Let's take a look around the car, look in the interior, and then we'll dive into what is going on with all this here. So, would show you the front end of an Audi here, but it's actually not here, so I guess we have to skip that part. You can see on the side it says S-Line. This is a more sporty version of an A4. It's not an S4, but it's a sporty version of an A4. And there's the wheel on the ground. It's an 18, nice 5-spoke, actually very pretty wheels. I really like them. And as the rest of the car is also very pretty, but there is a gouge in the paint right there. A little bit dirty and dusty from driving around. It is the 2.0 T Quattro, which means all-wheel drive, and equally nice down that side as well. Let's take a quick peek in the interior.
Okay, ladies and gents, 81,772 miles. So, hey, not a whole lot is starting to creep up on that 100,000. And we know what, happens to German cars when they start to get some miles on them. But so far, so good. The dash is in really nice condition. They have a lovely disco ball here for us hanging from their rear view mirror. But they also have a nice infotainment system beneath that. And we have nice controls for our creature comforts, those heated seats and dual climate controls and all those great, fabulous additions that we need to have in today's automobiles. So down below, we'll see there's some other settings for our driving. We have a USB port and a 12-volt spot where you can plug in and at least charge 2 devices. It does have our start-stop button there as well. I'm really cautious about having the cup holders and all of these controls right here next to each other. You remember that Jetta video we did a while ago where they spilled onto the dash? This seems a lot easier to spill on. Just saying it out there, be cautious. Have our nice gear selector beneath that. Got a couple of nice little hidey holes right here and a very simple lift one as well. So it looks like we got more charging and they've got a little bit of, personal care items in there as well. Nice brown leather wrapped here, and our seats are brown leather as well with a nice adjustable headrest. On the door card, we have a mix of many different textures. We have the brown leather, we have black leather, we have wood, gray trim, and more plastic as well. So it is really a nice design. Nice that it's not just all one solid color like so many cars of today are. It has a very nice large back seat with a nice, very big armrest in that center section. Roof is looking fabulous, not sagging, no marks, nothing going on. We have a nice glass moonroof as well with a shade that can be pulled back as well. Those of you who have been with us for a while know that Junior Mint is quite tall. I'm imagining my feet are barely able to touch the brake pedal. I could not push it and engage it if I really wanted to. So I'm guessing he has this seat adjusted because he pulled it in. But far away from that steering wheel, you can see we've got basic controls. We've got controls for our phone and for our controls on that infotainment system, everything to keep us, distracted from watching what's going on in front of us. But enough this interior talk. Let's go see why the car is all tore up in the engine bay.
On a lot of cars, you just open the hood, and sometimes the hood can open even further. That's kind of a service position. And to replace a radiator on most cars, which is actually what's wrong with this thing, it doesn't require all this. Again, I know this is normal for an Audi, but then again, no, it's not normal. A car shouldn't have to have this just to replace a radiator. So let me grab the old radiator. Danielson pressure tested this, and let me show you what he found.
What was it? That radiator would make a frog really happy with all those bugs.
Yep, it definitely would. It would have a smorgasbord. We pressure tested it because we ran it for a long time. We drove it, it wouldn't leak, and finally we pressure tested it right after it cooled down after a drive. And sure enough, it started dripping on the floor. Look at that, guys. Just this crimp is bad, and also there's some other issues or something going on where it started leaking all down the radiator there. So the radiator normally sets roughly in this position. No, it's not exact. But it can't come out through here because this plastic brace is in the way and the engine's in the way. You can't physically even get it out. Also, where these bolt on to the radiator, you can't go forward with it and pull it out through here because it physically can't even go there. So the radiator has to come out this way. And there's a condenser in the way. Where are you going to put that? So the whole bumper has to come off, and then you can swing the condenser out of the way. Luckily we don't have to drain the refrigerant. Then the radiator can come out, and you can kind of set this thing back, and it's piddling on the floor. But that's how you get the radiator out. Let's go over all the parts that had to come off just to get to this radiator. So on these Audis, especially the V8s and the V6s, what if you have a water pump fail or a front main seal? Take the whole front end off. On some vehicles, the exhaust manifolds or something is bad towards the front of the engine. You take the whole freaking front end off. On some vehicles, the serpentine belt is bad, and it really shouldn't be that big of a deal, but take the whole front end off. Your radiator fan quit working. The radiator's still fine, but the fan is bad. You take the whole freaking front end off. Your intercooler for your turbo is leaking and you need to get that replaced. Take the whole front end off. This Chevy right here, the Suburban, I would have to do none of that craziness. None of it. I could do any of those jobs I just listed and not have to take anything off the front bumper or the headlights or the grille. I don't have to take any of that off. But on Audis you do. You guys like carts full of parts. We do have one cart here. It is full of parts. Let's take a look. The bumper is on its own cart. You guys saw a bunch of repetitious nonsense about that. These are the other parts that had to come off. Here is our fan and fan shroud assembly. Both of our headlights. A bunch of plastic panels and all kinds of brackets and things that hold stuff in place. Here's another bracket that goes to, I think the intercooler kind of mounts there. Tons of bolts. And more brackets and things. There's our intercooler down there. And the entire front bumper, the actual metal bumper, has to come off. All of that takes a good couple hours or more to take it all apart. Then you've got to go all the way back together again, which is usually a little slower than taking it apart because you want to make sure everything goes back where it should and take your time. And also you have to fill it with coolant and bleed the system. All of those parts should not need to come off just to replace a radiator. It's insane. Now, I'm not knocking this customer or their car. When these cars are all in good shape, especially when they're newer, they're actually a fantastic car. They drive amazing. They're powerful. They're fun. And the inside is luxurious. They actually are a very fun car, very exciting car to drive. But when they do break, this is what you get to do. I get a lot of emails, hey Car Wizard, I'm looking at this 2009 Audi. It's got 140,000 miles on it. And I instantly respond, nope, no. This is why. Because you're going to pay $4 grand or $6 grand or $8 grand for the car, and every time you turn around it's going to be $2 grand for that, $3 grand for this, and it's going to be a lot of repairs, frequent repairs. They love to leak oil. They like to leak coolant. And with 140,000 miles, it's not the end of the life for the vehicle. It's the end of the fun for the vehicle. For the next 60,000 miles or however much longer it lasts, whoever owns that vehicle is going to be pulling their hair out and be really pissed off. You might remember Hoovy actually just put out a video on an Audi TT that he bought that was pretty much roached out. That's typically the life of an Audi when they get to a certain amount of miles. The second and the third owner is tired of the games, tired of the BS, tired of this, and they dump it off somewhere and it's at a buy here, pay here lot. That is the end of the road for most Audis. So should you buy one with high miles on it? No. You absolutely should not. You will be unhappy. So if you like automotive masochism and you like to just burn money, I guess you could fix these up and there would be an enjoyable car. But dollar for what you're getting, it's not worth it. This car still has a lot of life in it. It is worth fixing this. And by the way, when I quoted this job, I had so many other things going on. My mind was just, I was like, okay, radiator, that's an hour job. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, shouldn't be too bad. And I typed it in and it said 5.8 hour job. I was like, why? I was like, oh, that's right. It's an Audi. Service position. All this stuff has to come. Okay, that makes sense. We quoted the job to the customer and they were like, yeah, I know it's going to be expensive. This isn't quick and have to do all this. And they understood. They said, go ahead. I need to get it done. Very good customer to deal with. Again, I have no trouble with the car or the customer. I'm just letting you guys know up front. This is what you can expect with older Audis. It just happens that way. It just be like that. That's what they say. It's a very similar situation to a BMW. They don't really have this whole service position thing going on, but they frequently break. They have oil leaks and coolant leaks probably double as bad as these, and they're just as expensive, if not more expensive. So I really don't even recommend BMWs to anyone on any year, any miles. I don't care. Don't buy one. So if you're curious what kind of tools that we've used to get this far into this Audi, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. All the tools we use in the shop are listed for sale there, and if you purchase any of them, we get a small cut and really appreciate it. And if you like seeing this kind of carnage, hit the subscribe button because I'm sure this is not the end of it. There's going to be more. Hit the subscribe button. We have tons of cool videos to come. Thanks for watching.